You're probably watching this video because you're either hard stuck in Diamond or Plat and you really want to get Masters or Pred this season. And I feel like a lot of these YouTubers nowadays make these tips and tricks videos on how to get out of, Plat and Diamond, how to get Masters. They just give these really generic tips and tricks that a lot of these tips and tricks are really obvious. Like, you already know these things and you just can't apply it. This is why I'm gonna be giving y'all like specific tips on how to actually improve and actually rank up out of Plat and Diamond. Because I think Plat and Diamond is where a large amount of the player base get hard stuck, because it's either your mechanics aren't good enough, like your aim, game sense, movement, or it's either your rotational abilities, such as, when to fight, how to get in and out of fights, knowing good strong spots in the zone, or how to keep a good position in the zone, when to rotate. I feel like it's either your aim or your rotational abilities that you lack. And I'm a 9x Apex Predator. I've been pred since season 13 to 21. I peaked number 4 in arenas and number 5 in BR. So I feel like I have a lot of knowledge on how to, rank up and how to gain RP really. And I'm going to be sharing tips that helped me personally to get out of these ranks and how to gain RP. As a person that was originally hard stuck in Plat and Diamond and couldn't even get Masters, I know the struggles that you guys have that, get you hard stuck, like bad teammates, or you not having good aim, not really knowing how to rotate and, really move around the map so that you can position yourself to have an advantage. Alright, now let's quit the yapping, let's get right into it. So, my first tip is going to be to use a recon character to know where people are and know where to third party or find isolated fights to engage in. So with the new perk system in season 20, they added it where characters that aren't already recon characters can read the beacon. And what the beacon does now is it's like a map room scan where you can see where everyone on the map is, where everyone's fighting and stuff. And this is really important because this is going to help you know where to fight. If there's a fight near you that you can easily evac to or take a jump tower to third party, that's free KP right there. And KP is going to help you a lot to get out of these high ranks, because unlike gold or silver, you can't gain RP just by playing like positioning or just by getting a top 5. You actually need KP to rank up, especially in season 20. For Plat, I'm pretty sure it's like neg 60 or 55, and then for Diamond it's neg 75, which are pretty big negs in my opinion. It's actually not easy to rank up. I think Diamond is like 0.085% of the player base or something, which is like a big accomplishment, and it's actually hard to get Diamond or even Plat now. So knowing when to fight, right? Knowing that information where people are around the map is going to help you a lot to find isolated fights, to just have a fair 3v3, which if you guys haven't watched my past video, you guys want to fight as much as possible in those low ranks like gold and silver to get your fighting ability up. Then when you get to Diamond and Plat, you're going to have a huge fighting advantage because your mechanical aim is already going to be good, and you're just going to know how to take fights that aren't third partyable because you're reading the beacon. You're reading the beacon and the recon, understanding where people are on the map, and making sure that you take a fight that isn't third partyable. Good recon legends are Bloodhound, Pathy, and for Pathy you would need a blue perk that you either pick if you want to scan the beacon or the ring console, and you want to pick obviously the beacon, right? Because the ring console isn't really going to help you in ranked. That's more of like a scrim competitive thing, but we're looking to rank up here, right? By the way, when you do hit the recon beacon, enemies that are close enough, I think it's around 200 meter-ish, can see that you scan the beacon and will get alerted. So they will know your position, which is one kind of bad thing about the recon. But I think it's really worth it because just knowing where people are on the map is gonna give you a huge advantage, because it's basically free KP, right? You're gonna know where everyone is, and that's gonna help you so much because you're practically gonna be taking fights that are completely, fair, right? Because you either don't even have to fight if you don't have enough loot. You can literally go loot a spot on the map that you see where there is no one around, which is going to get you loot, get you enough loot, get you comfortable to actually take a fight that is a fair 3v3, unthird partyable, or even third party fight. I even recommend trying to not even find an isolated fight if you're not too confident with your solo queue teammates or even yourself with like a mechanical aim. You can go and try to find fights that you can third party for free KP and just get a clean, 2-3 KP. I also recommend that in Plat and Diamond, you don't really want to be running the lobby down if you are not too confident in your aim. Obviously, if you think you and your team are really good at fighting and you can easily wipe these teams, like these Plat and Diamond teams, go for it. Go for fighting, because fighting is going to help you improve the most, and that's going to help you gain the most RP. But for average players, I would recommend to get around 3 to 6 KP if you can in end zone. I wouldn't even mind going into end zone with 3 KP. That's not bad at all, because if you win the game, you're gonna have more KP than 3 KP, because you need to kill the final team, right? And you're gonna be obviously getting a few KP off picks and just third party fights. So that's gonna be a plus 200, 250 if you do win the game. And I think focusing on winning the game is going to be more important than anything. But I think fighting is necessary, it's almost essential to gain RP. You can't go into endgame with 0 RP, because that's just not going to help you improve. That's a trait of someone that is hard stuck in their rank, which is why you need to switch up the way you play. And obviously, there's solo queue teammates that don't want to fight, and this is why you can't trust solo queue. Solo queue is one of the worst ways to gain RP, because it's RNG based. Why are you putting your RP and the amount you gain on something that is luck based? It's either you get teammates that know how to fight and are good, or you get teammates that absolutely suck, right? You don't want to put your RP on risk. You don't want to even risk getting a neg initial 75, because that's gonna hurt a lot. That's gonna put your mental in a state where you're constantly thinking to get your RP back. You're gonna constantly be in that mindset of being like, one more win can get me all my RP back, and you don't want to be in that mindset. Which is why my second tip is having a good mindset is gonna be so important. Just because you take a few negs doesn't mean that it's over. You have to believe in your team and believe that you can gain your RP back. This is gonna help you a lot. I've gone days where I've gone like neg 500, even neg 1000, but the next day is a new day and you're gonna get all your RP back, or you're gonna get some of your RP back. And sometimes you won't even get any of your RP back, and that you have to deal with it. That's Apex. If you're a type of person to easily give up in one day just because you lost a few hundred RP, that's not gonna get you far, because in Plat and Diamond, as I said, you need to try to get your fundamentals up. This is where you create the foundation to improve, to have good aim, to have good game sense, and to know when to fight using, like once I said, the beacon, or just knowing when to third party fight and stuff. That's going to be essential for you. And with the new RP system, there's going to be this thing called a top 5 bonus, which is if you get a top 5, it's going to give you 10 RP. And if you get a 5 out of 5 top 5 streak, which means if you get top 5 games in a row, that's going to give you a free 50 RP, which is like really insane. That is like, just by getting top 5 times, you can go plus 50, which means you can almost not go neg without any KP, which is gonna be how to gain. If you die, right, this is why I recommend playing a support character as well, because that's gonna help you get those top 5 streaks, because even in Pred, right, even in Pred that I'm often playing in, I'm often in these high elo ranks, some fights you cannot control, some third parties you cannot control, and you'll get third party no matter what, right? Even if you scan the beacon, there will be teams that do unpredictable things, like they evac on you all of a sudden or whatever, right? And this is why having a character that you can reset on, like a support character, is going to be essential. Almost every support character is good right now. You can play really anything. Newcastle's good. GB's really good for fighting cheaters or resetting. His bubble's pretty insane. Lifeline is really good right now because of the purple perk. That's gonna help you get an automatic gold knockdown, and also a Evo cash, which is gonna get you a free red or purple armor, which is gonna give you an automatic advantage in a 3v3. So, playing meta legends that are strong right now is gonna be a really important way to gain as well. And yeah, playing support is going to help you to get those resets that are going to help you gain RP. One thing that I also realized when fighting diamond teams, because obviously as an Apex Predator, right, you're obviously going to fight a lot of diamond teams as well as other Pred teams, but I think one thing that I've noticed about these teams that I easily kill are that they are usually on the defender side, which is Which what I mean by this is they're not the aggressor in the fight. They're not the one pushing up. They're the one that are getting pushed up, and they're the ones that are like having to hold the building with the enemies pushing up. This is not something, this is not a position you want to be in, because they have full control of the fight. They can control whether they want to fight, get angles, ape you. There's so many different ways that they can play, and how the fight goes is in their hands, which is not ideal. You want to be the aggressor. You want to be the one pushing in, and especially if you're a team that's pushing like hella aggro, like your team is literally full sending with grapple, with rev pounce in revel, the team that you're facing is going to be scared of you, because they're not going to expect such an aggressive team coming out of you, right? Even if you don't hit every shot, or if maybe if you're whiffing a little bit, that pressure of you getting hard aped is going to really have an impact on them. They're gonna be like, oh my god, what, like these guys are hard aping us, we need to back up, and they're probably gonna keep on backing up and get in a spot where you're gonna have the advantage. Like for example, they're gonna slide down a hill and you're gonna have high ground on them, or you're gonna be able to chase them down in a building. They're stuck in a building and you can take their height and easily kill them. Like things like that. Being the aggressor in the fight is gonna give you a huge advantage, and that's just gonna help you gain RP, because people are scared of hard aggro teams. Knowing where to drop is going to also help you significantly. I see a lot of teams that land in the middle of the map contested with 2 teams. This is not what I mean when I say you should be the aggressor or you should get KP, right? You want to land smart and take fights that are smart. In these tiers, if you're not too confident in your fighting ability, I don't recommend landing with the team. This is because you don't want to risk that neg 60 because your teammates are like, your solo queue teammates are bad, or things that are RNG based, right? You don't want to risk that. So I would recommend landing somewhere where there isn't a team, or it's easy to take a fair 3v3. Like for example, Skyhook is a perfect example. Skyhook is a really big POI where buildings are evenly spread out and loot is evenly spread out. So you guys can both have good loot and fight fairly. Unlike a POI such as like, let's say like Hamid Labs in Olympus, or like small POIs that are RNG based, where you're literally all landing in a building or something. That is something that you don't like want to do, because you don't want to make how much RP you gain based on RNG. One last tip isn't really a thing that you can do in game, but I recommend watching ranked streamers or pros that know what they're doing, right? Know how to take fights, because if you watch players like Hal or Zero, you're gonna know how to fight. And also like things like these little things, like these there's a head glitch here, or there's a spot where you can rat here. These little small tips are going to really help you improve your game in like a micro way, in like a, like watching better players than you play and learning from them is going to help you significantly in the way you fight and the way you also like position yourself. Like for example, as a Pathfinder, if you watch a good Pathfinder player, they're not gonna be in front of the enemies, literally hard aping them in front of them. What a Pathfinder is supposed to do is get these angles to make fighting for your teammates really easily, right? You're gonna make angles. For example, you're gonna go far right of the enemy where they don't expect it, and have an angle where you can crack 1, crack 2, and that's gonna allow them to back up a little bit, and you're gonna have the advantage, because then you're gonna be the aggressor when you're fighting. These little things these little things that you learn from watching better players, such as, for example, even me, right? You can watch some of my gameplay in these clips that I am showing right now, and you can see the stuff that I'm doing, like not peeking, for example, like this door, right? This door example where I literally stopped peeking so that I could have my teammate cover for me so that I don't die. Because if I died there might have been a third party that come and they would have easily wiped us. It's those little things that are gonna help you improve, and this is why I highly recommend that you take in these tips and try to learn. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope these tips can actually help you, and stay tuned for more tips and tricks, because I'm gonna be posting more frequently. And yeah, hope you guys have a fantastic day, and that's gonna be the end of today's video. Thank you for watching.